Also, last week, we got to enjoy doing a little podcasting of not our own variety. So, if you want to check out Hedgepod here, they do a lefty podcast on mass media and how it impacts the discourse. And so we talked about teachers and a show called Hey Arnold. I had never seen. It was like right in that sweet spot where I was probably a little too old for it, but it's pretty interesting to learn about. And so we did that last week as well. So that was fun. Only two public things that Stitt did this week. He ran the marathon last Saturday, and then he did this. He took off to head south to the Mexico border and basically just participate in a
Mexico-Oklahoma border.
the Mexico right on the Mexico Oklahoma border. Yeah, I mean, and he's down there cosplaying Commando. I don't know.
It's really affecting all of the U.S. When we look
I mean,
at the drugs
I'll
coming
only
in,
watch
they're
a few
coming
of
in from
this.
Mexico, and really we have an open border right now.
So I mean, he has this highly stylized video of him just, riding along, looking out like he has anything to do with all this. My deal is if the Border Patrol has enough time to sit here and give a ride to every single politician and grifter that wants to come get a ride, yeah, I mean, do they need more funding? I mean, are we having a border crisis? Like, you guys got time for all these freaking do-nothing photo ops with governors that aren't even there, don't even border the area or have anything to do with border protection, which is a federal issue. Anyway, it just continues to go that to the argument that Stitt is running for president. He's just looking for photo ops to feed the xenophobic, racist, conservative base. And yeah, I mean, he's spending good Oklahoma money to send a camera crew and whatever else with him to go shoot this shit.
So while Stitt was along the Mexico-Oklahoma border, we still have a raging pandemic. And I want to address something that he talks about. He talks about fentanyl and an increase in overdoses. There has been an increase in overdoses in 2020. Is that to increase shipments of fentanyl? I don't know. There has been some studies conducted that says like the amount of overdoses in Oklahoma. I'm not sure about the country, but in Oklahoma, I read somewhere a substantial number of them are due to fentanyl. So if you take that on his face, I don't know. I mean, he didn't fentanyl a lot. They found like huge amounts of fentanyl on like ports in Philly and the like. So I don't know. I assume some fentanyl comes across the southern border. Some of the drugs do. If that's your concern, and Oklahomans over drugs, it's not as much of a concern as it should be, and we know that because there are several actions he could take that don't involve going to the Oklahoma-Mexico border. You could be improving funding to healthcare, to substance abuse. You could be making sure people who are struggling with substance abuse are not going to prison. They're getting help where substance abuse can be exacerbated in prison. You could be making sure with the Medicaid expansion that there are substantial funding and resources for Oklahomans struggling with substance abuse when in this Medicaid expansion. He's actively making Medicaid expansion worse by trying to insert a grifter friend of his in privatization, right? So and that's the issue. And I often talk about the feeding each other. I say it all the time. Let me for me to give that story again. We all agree Oklahomans struggling with substance abuse is a problem. We all agree that Oklahomans overdosing is a problem. We agree that Oklahomans overdosing on any drug, fentanyl included, is a problem. Now, how do we fix it? Do we fix it by going to the Oklahoma-Mexico border and riding on a fucking, boat and taking photo ops and pointing and wearing a stupid fucking vest? Or do we try the issues that cause substance abuse, right? In ways that are not does not criminalize it, which was exacerbated, right? In ways that truly address why Oklahomans are struggling with substance abuse. Their economic situations are precarious and the like. Educational opportunities are precarious and the like. Rural Oklahoma. I'm from rural Oklahoma. I'm Choctaw County, Oklahoma, Hugo, Oklahoma, born and raised. I see the problems they have. I was down there Monday. We can hopefully stave off people even entering illicit substances, trying those substances. And then for those who are struggling with it, we can find ways to provide them the resources that they need so they are not struggling with it. They are not living with this issue. They are not dying from this issue. That is what we could be doing. And that does not involve or require or need going to the Oklahoma-Mexico border.
Yeah. Yep. There's probably 100 things that would be up the priority list if you were serious about fixing addiction and all that above this. And oh yeah, here's the Oklahoma-Mexico border
So
clip.
this is not just hurting Oklahoma, it's hurting all states, and we're a border state to the state of Texas.
Yeah, the governor's...
So this is not...
For a state to the state of Texas. Way to go, Stitt. And then, just not to be left out, I do want to point out that Stephanie Bice was down there too.
Hi, it's Congresswoman Stephanie Bice, and I'm in Del Rio, Texas today with Congressman Tony Gonzalez. And behind me, you can...
It's like chauvinism. They don't really want to show her no love, but she just kind of like, I don't know. She just kind of pops up randomly at places and doesn't get a lot of likes and interactions, and like,
so sad.
It's like, oh yeah, Stephanie Bice is elected.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, she shouldn't try to, have herself drop down in Afghanistan Rambo style, like Mark Wayne. But you kind of forget, like, oh yeah, Stephanie Bice did be it. That did happen.
I just love that they're both down there at the same time and like can't even appear together. Like don't even get. I mean, she's literally forced to go take her own video in an empty field somewhere. I mean, at least like James Langford was down there at night with people moving in the background, so he could like plausibly make a claim that he was seeing something. I don't know. It's just
that's
embarrassing.
Are we sure that's the but I like, that's wild. Like, I mean, I don't know what the conservative dickhead group message look like. I just assume it's a bunch of sharing racist memes and talking about how much money the oil and gas oligarchy gives them. But I mean, come on, fam, y'all can like schedule better than this. Like, yo, you going down to want some xenophobia this week? Like, come on, fam.
Can't even coordinate it.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah, it's so embarrassingly amateur, but also like extremely gross. It's like you're all going to the same well over and over and over. I don't know.
It speaks to like what animates what they feel. So like they have the money to do the polls, they have the money to do the focus groups, they have the money to do the research as to what animates their base. What they feel animates their base ain't got shit to do with small government, ain't got shit to do with they're not. I mean, Langford was being a dickhead like at a church, I think, earlier this week. But like Stephanie Bice and Kevin Stitt didn't run the church. So whenever we speak about what animates that side of the aisle, and they want to say Jesus, 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 the people who know their base the best, the people who rely on their base, whenever they need some political capital, they run to xenophobia. They don't run to church. They don't run to, say, government waste. They run to xenophobia. They run to racism. They run to what animates their side of the aisle. And it's some of the worst impulses of humanity.
Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram.